water, deeper until I'm under. Oh, 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 living water flow and overtake us. Oh, flow, living water flow, yeah, and overtake us. We want you to, Lord. Close enough to feel the cadence of your heart. For justice, Lord, and streams of justice flows to the least of these. Take us, Lord, take us deeper, deeper, deeper until I'm under. Oh, 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 living water flow and overtake us. Oh, water flow, yeah. Sing on, sing on. Living water flow and overtake, and overtake. Living water flow and overtake us. Hallelujah. We need you to overtake us.
What is Apex? It is the pinnacle of high-performance vision through a lens. It's clarity, no matter what angle you look at. It's comfort, no matter what you do all day, every day. And it's customized, with every digital measurement your eyes require to see at their very best. Apex Digital Lenses by Value Optical, the ultimate lens design for your eyes. Value Optical, expert care for your eyes.
Police, good day. Officer Best Price here. Johnny Q Auto Parts Division.
Yes, sir.
I'm here to investigate an assault on batteries.
Excuse me, sir?
Is it true you have batteries selling for $488?
Yes, Power Master, Optima, Vata, and Megastar batteries.
So I can buy a battery for $488?
Yes, sir. For cars, trucks, and boats. Backed and distributed by Massey Automotive.
Which part?
Right here at Johnny Q Hardware and Auto Parts Division, 15 Arabita Avenue, Woodbrook. And our new Johnny Q Superstore, located at Lowlands Mall off Claude Noel Highway in Tobago. You could call 60 Tools.
Alright, thanks boss. Nah man. Granny, do you have $488 to lend, man?
Hi, what's up, TNT? This is Wayne Johnson out of Brooklyn, New York. I always wanted to do something back home, and we're going to be doing our gospel segment on Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM. Listen what I want you to do. Spread the word. Spread the word, TNT. Salvation, full and free. Salvation is for everybody. Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 91 Eastern Main Road in St. Augustine. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new with Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the Street 919 FM. Pastor Hannah A. Parbu of Holy Spirit Ministries will be live on the Street 919 FM every first and third Wednesday from 11:15 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. In the scripture, Matthew 19 verse 26, the Bible says, "But Jesus looked at them and said to them, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." Pastor Hannah is here to motivate you, challenge you, encourage you to walk in your purpose and destiny God has for you. For prayer and counseling, call Pastor Hannah at 728-5197.
He heals me when I'm broken. Strength where I've been weak. Forever he'll reign.
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MC Duke, and every Monday between the hours of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Sheet 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in every Monday between the hours of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for Orisha, The Way of Life.
This is Bishop Aaron Williams from the Divine Problem Solving International Ministries, inviting you to be part of our broadcast on any given Thursday night from 12 midnight right on to 5 a.m. on Friday morning. And this broadcast is called Early Morning Gospel Market Program. Then we have on Tuesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. the Holy Ghost Gospel Pharmacy. If you are sick and ailing, you could get from this particular pharmacy, from the pharmacist, the good things of life. Hallelujah. And any Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, break into the host of the Philistines. Hallelujah. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, hearing the babel of false doctrines that you encounter daily, it's about time you get close to God, God's word, direct from his throne room, in the name of Jesus.
God has good plans for his people. Why do you worry so much?
Tune in to the Street 919 FM for Gospel in the Bone Ministry every Sunday from 7:05 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. For the program, God's Last Warning Message. Hosea chapter 4 says, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood." Remember, every Sunday from 7:05 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. for the program God's Last Warning Message with Gospel in the Bones Ministry, right here on the Street 919 FM.
The journey's almost
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Yo, this is your boy Ziggy Rankin, and right now you're listening to the Titans of Democracy. You don't know. Real talk.
Well, a pleasant good morning to each and everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Titans of Democracy right here on the street, 919 FM. Let me thank the Heavenly Father for bringing me a safe sound and all together in one piece. A pleasant good morning going out to my entire family, to Miss Sharon Felix, Mr. Dominic Romain, and their entire family. Good morning to you, all our callers, all our listeners, to all of our viewers online. For those of you that are locked on via whatever mechanism that you are, it's always good to have you guys on the inside with us. Pleasant good morning going on to the management and staff of the street 919 FM. Good morning to Mr. Iwer George and his entire family. Let me say blessed good morning to my friends and family in Tobago. Good morning to you. I know you guys are locked on via the radio. That's good. Pleasant good morning to each and every one. Remember, guys, we live on Facebook at the Street 909 FM's Facebook page, also on YouTube at Iwer TV live broadcast on the Street 919 FM. So at this time, what I'll do, I'll just open up the lines for a bit as I await Dominic. So you can call me on 342-0081-466-5391. Those are the numbers to call to give you morning greetings. Caller, good morning.
Blessed morning to you, my brother.
Morning.
Morning to Sharon. Morning to Dominic. And by extension, the Titans of Democracy and the world by extension. Look at some of the one, Bruce. But how long the budget is. But it's a damn good budget. I mean, it's a damn good budget, and they could try and say what they want. Great is the pain, and we will always prevail. I locked on and listening. I ain't calling out nobody except Mommy, so of course. But I know it's right there.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Charles, Bataria, Jenny, Miss Carol. I'm gone, locked on as usual. Budget to please a nation.
Caller, good morning.
Morning, Bruce.
Hey, man.
Morning, morning, Salman. You talk for me. You talk for me. You understand? Budget to the nation. After all these things that go on in the country and around the world, and they have a budget like this, well, brother, we have something good going on. It's just that the people have to understand what's going on and take little and live long. You don't have to want no big set of listen, man. Some people really unreasonable. At a time like now, where we are under this pandemic time and problems going all around the world, we should thank God for little and live long. You understand me? Say morning to everybody, good morning to girlfriend, good morning to Patricia, good morning to Umanoga, Jackie and Jackie, good morning. Bonnie Gans and Moko, good morning to you people. I'm going to say here. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Bataya. Good morning, Mr. Chance. Good morning to you. And true boy, we're not hearing you at all. What's happening? Friday, good morning. And all those who didn't call, Miss Tuna Puna, all those who didn't call, good morning. Just remember, love is the answer. Christmas coming, give somebody something that they need, not what they think they want. You understand? So, may the good Lord bless and keep each and every one of us. Love is the answer. Mafia man, wake up. Go on.
Caller, good morning.
Well, praise the Lord. Glory, hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Good morning to my adopted brother, to my adopted sister, wherever you are, and to my next adopted brother that's coming in this morning, Dominic. We need big brothers like you in this nation. And a big sister like Sharon. You are great role models. And I pray many young people would look up to you and thank the Lord for you. Brother Bruce,
yes.
Excellent budget. I want to do it in a little song by Bob Marley. Just short and sweet. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds on my doorstep, singing sweet sounds, a melody pure and true. Singing, This is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be alright. Hallelujah. Dr. Rowley, I tip my hat to you this morning. Minister Imbert, I tip my hat to you. And I just thank God. Bless our nation. Bless our government. In the name of Jesus. Peace and love, Trinidad and Tobago. Like Bob Marley said, every little thing is going to be all right. Peace and love. Bye.
Thank you. What's going on here? All right. So let me say good morning to Mr. Dominic Romain, who has just joined me in studio. Good morning, Dominic.
Morning, sir.
How are you doing this morning, pal?
I am good. Can't complain.
Nice, nice. So, guys, as Dominic is here, I will now... Well, let me take this one more call, and then I'm going to get into the papers. Caller, good morning.
Oh, blessed love to you, Mr. Bruce Wayne.
Morning.
Sorry to cross you off. Yes, blessed love to your family this morning. Praise the Lord for being the land of the living once more again, and this morning to see another day. Blessed love to you, Mr. Dominic. I don't know why I always forget you. I don't know. Yes, blessed love to my Sharon, Phillips and her family. Blessed to the Titans family. Blessed to the sister that called in there just now. Mama, my darling, blessed love to you, my surrounding. Passes Sweet Nova, Beacon to Maca Paradise Side. Let us go with the flow. I satisfied with that budget, and what they say. Who don't say? I don't care what they say. Everything has to be everything, right? He cannot do more than what he can do. Yeah? I satisfy. Eat little and live long. I'm moving with the flow, right?
Nice.
All right.
Right, so guys, what I'm going to do now is get into our papers for today, Tuesday, the 5th of October, 2021. I'm trying to get the WhatsApp up and running, so we'll try and get into the papers in the meantime. So, headline in the Express this morning: Budget 2022, tax give and take. Okay. So let's see. Right. So tax give and take, Finance Minister Colm Imbert's $52 billion budget is laden with relief measures for the poor, small and medium businesses, manufacturers and tech companies, both. Hold on. Try to get in. Where am I? Nice. Both startups and existing operators. So excellent. Can't see what. See this. Hold a sec for me. Alright, so let's see. Alright. $2.3 billion allocated to Tobago. A total of $2.3 billion has been allocated to Tobago in the 2022 national budget. Right. Where am I? People-friendly budget. Central and South Business Chambers were tentatively pleased with yesterday's budget presentation by Finance Minister Colm Imbert. Unvaccinated workers will be allowed into safe zone, but Some employees of businesses operating in the COVID-19 safe zones will be allowed to report to work despite being unvaccinated against the COVID-19 virus. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp go down. WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook have all gone down in a major outage yesterday. Imbert on a high as Finance Minister Colin Imbert prepares. Okay, well, this would be a much later story. Traffic cop charged with drunk driving. An officer attached to the traffic branch of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service TTPS was granted a $15,000 bail with a surety when he appeared before a justice of the peace yesterday after he was held for driving under the influence. Why this thing? So these are the stories making way in the Express. Over to the Newsday. More tax breaks for first-time home owners. Unvaccinated safe zone employees must provide a COVID-19 test. Education training get largest allocation in budget 2022. Top takeaways from 2022 budget. Okay, so that would have been kerosene, LPG subsidy stays, plus cash card for low-income earners. Economists, not enough money for Tobago development. National security stakeholders wait for budget draft estimates. $51 million more for agriculture than last year. Health allocation increases in 2022. National security gets $437 million more than last year. Imbert, $30 million for Tobago farmland development. Imbert reveals plans for three international sport events in 2022. Three new deaths, 144 COVID-19 cases. Barataria policeman dies days after being shot by relative. Hey, how did it come up? Right. 4 students receive GMMB Express Finance skulls. Government, opposition offer varying expectations of 2021-22 budget. National Quality Policy Awareness Program launched. Sister of Pleasantville drowning victim, choose your friends wisely. EBC again asks to reconsider Tobago seat changes. Abdullah arrested. Parents protest at Education Ministry. But what the hell is this? So nobody don't care about the fact that we're in a state of emergency, or? So these are the stories making way in the Newsday. Over to the Guardian. Headlines in the Guardian: tax cuts. $52.4 billion budget, cuts in taxes, duties, and removal of VAT on some food items. Finance Minister Colin Imbert has presented a $52.4 billion budget for fiscal 2022, which promises better food prices with the removal of value-added tax VAT from certain basic food items. So let's see what's going on more on the inside. Chamber enthused by budget presentation. The Chamber of Industry and Commerce said it has recognized the government's attempt to address the numerous social and economic challenges facing the country, currently faces in the National Budget 2022. Dayal Singh, teachers' right to strike for safe environment. Which Dayal Singh is this? So, guys, hold on. Right, Dr. Varma Dayal Singh. Okay. Kamla, budget maths, not mathsing. Yeah, boy. Chief Secretary tells Tobago farmers they'll get access to 300 acres of land. Minister points to energy sector rebounding, expects higher revenues. TTMA pleased by budget measures, particularly towards SMEs. National Security allocated $5.6 billion. Government seeking to regularize contracts for nurses by December. Laventil man faces 6 charges after report of attempted murder. Health gets its its highest budget allocation yet. South farmers feel left out, want access roads fixed. Imbert full of praise for teachers ahead of a second planned outline blackout yesterday. Fewer than 3,000 students return to physical school. Sando Chamber welcomes budget initiatives. Central Chamber fear price hikes in utilities come 2022. $500 million spent on COVID relief. Mixed emotions from parents, students as classes resume. So those are the stories making way in the Guardian, the Express, and the Newsday at this time. So I turn it over to Mr. Dominic Romain. Dominic, I still ain't get it up yet, huh? The WhatsApp.
Okay, well, when you get it up, I guess we can play it then.
Yeah, try and sort it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm just checking for something here. Right. Yeah, so there's a lot of headlines that you just went through there. Well, there were a few things that happened simultaneously yesterday. Was the big thing yesterday was the budget.
Yeah.
But also students returning to school forms 4, 5, and 6. Some schools would have had a better turnout than others, and for good reason, because we know that there's still a lot of students who aren't vaccinated, and some who are vaccinated and are still the parents still a little skeptical about sending them out. So yeah, let me say morning to Mr. and Mrs. Giuseppe, Mr. and Mrs. Regis. Morning, Angie. Angie had to get her special morning, you know. Yeah, we don't play with that. Good morning to one of our loyal listeners, Miss Marilyn McKenzie, always locked on. Morning, Maro. Mano, morning, Mother Tuna Puna, and others. Yeah, so I saw on the news last night, they would have interviewed some students who indicated, some of them, that they were excited to get back to school after almost 2 years. Some of them, when the last time they were in the physical school environment, they were in Form 2. Now they're in Form 4. So they were looking forward to seeing their friends and so on. Some of them have some issues with the restrictions, having to wear the mask all day, which could really be a challenge. I saw one young lady talking about, the whole issue of having the social distancing and stuff, that You know, she finds it's a bit too, after a year and something of being accustomed, you're sitting down in your home, you have your space, and you're in front of a computer to have to come back to some of these restrictions. So I guess they have to iron out some of the kinks. So I would have been in a meeting last night in which the principal of CIC was in that meeting, and he was telling us about some of the challenges that they had on the first day. Okay. And so they've had to take their own initiatives to make some adjustments to the return so that they're going to do it on a phased basis for the different forms to see how things work out. There still are concerns for those students who aren't vaccinated, and how the teachers are going to navigate teaching in class and those who are on the virtual platform as well. So one of the economics teachers was trying to tell us what are the strategies that he's using. You know, so they're trying to see if they could do the streaming thing where if it is that you probably have a camera in the class that is linked to the internet so that the teacher could go on the whiteboard and do whatever it is you have to do, and the people at home could still see. Or if it is you just have to sit down and you have the laptop in front of you, and as you speak to the class that is in front of you, the persons who are at home as well. So it still have a few things they need to iron out, but hopefully it would work itself out, and that whole exercise could work. Perhaps some parents, you know, now with the whole safe zone coming into play next week Monday, might be a little more motivated. I know a few of my friends who were very adamant that they weren't going to take the jab. After Saturday's press conference, they decided they're going to take it because they realized, hey, yeah,
part of the
it is had to sit at home.
The new normal, you know?
Yeah, the line virtually when your partners and them stood up, they've gone by the bar. Yeah, you had to sit at home at one and all they're talking over it, but that don't make no sense. So
that's not part of it.
Behave yourself. Yeah. But man, here them fine so Bruce $5,000, $25,000, yeah. Yeah, mine's changed one time.
Yeah.
So
easiest way to talk to trainees through the pocket, you know.
Yeah, best way. Best way. Yeah, so all those businessmen who who want to send email and disrespect the Prime Minister, who's saying, well, I not abiding by no safe zone regulations. I not going and ask nobody for no vaccination card, and if they vaccinate, I not doing that. My business, we have a mezzanine upstairs, and we could hold so many people, and we will be using that and whatever. Well, all right.
I will not pay some in that establishment.
Yeah. Well, you will pay. That's all. You don't want to abide by it? Well, okay. Pay some of that money that you have. Interestingly, that, one of the things that amazed me, Bruce, is this individual, while he complaining about he can't get US and all of that, how come he's the only one in Bamboo shutting down his business?
According to the person, shutting down our business.
Yeah.
About shut down business.
So none of the other used car dealers, none of the other parts dealers in Bamboo experiencing the same problems that he experienced, and to the point that they had to close down their business. It's only him, right? Okay. All right. I was making the point. Go ahead.
It is always have this one person in a group of people where the entire group watching a one individual and saying, but what is really wrong with you, boy? We talking about?
Yeah.
That is that individual.
He's the king of Bamboo. You're supposed to show the others how to do it. Not that you suffering and you had to shut down your business and all this kind of thing, looking for sympathy all over the place. Look. Anyway, I dealt with his situation on Sunday. He just disrespectful. Because one of the clips that I sent you there to play, and coming out of that whole episode is people who, let's say the matter seems to be coming to a close, but of course the amount of people, what bothered me, and usually after the Sunday show I would go back and look at some of the comments, right? And there are a few people, usual suspects on a Sunday, who just come on to criticize. talk about, I always defending Rowley and I'm Rowley's lawyer, chalala. Next one say that I always use wrong to defend wrong. And I said, well, at the start of the program, I made the point perfectly clear. I didn't come to defend Dr. Rowley because in my opinion, Dr. Rowley required no defense.
Yeah.
But in any event, Dr. Rowley can defend himself. He don't need me to defend him.
True.
But the point I was making is that my show on Sunday was to call out what I consider to be rank hypocrisy. That all of these self-righteous people who want to condemn the Prime Minister and talk about because of that email exchange that they're so embarrassed to call themselves Chinese and all of that, and Dr. Rowley's low and crass and all this kind of thing. One of the clip I sent you there, Bruce, is with then President Barack Obama using the same term in reference to Kanye West. And this was in April of 2012 when Barack Obama was in his first term. And then he went on to win a second term. I don't recall any Americans, a large amount of Americans saying that they're so disappointed and that they're so embarrassed to be called Americans because Barack Obama called Kanye West. That I don't understand. You see, in Tunisia, we always figure that, So I played a number of clips of other leaders in the country who have said things that I consider to be even more egregious. And where was the condemnation? This gentleman by the name of Israel Khan, who's calling for the Warathal boulders to come down on the Prime Minister. Ridiculous, yes? Anyway, enough of that. So, let me see what's the time, right? So, budget yesterday. Mixed reviews. So far, the government seems to be getting more thumbs up than thumbs down for the budget. It's early days yet. Starting today, we're going to see the Minister of Finance making the rounds as he participates in these different post-budget breakfasts where he will be required to speak and elaborate further on some of the measures that would have been announced in the budget. And on the face of it, my own assessment, I think that it was a good budget. There will be those who would say that I'm biased, but you need to look at it from a practical perspective, from an economic perspective. The biggest concern always with the budget has to do with the issue of implementation, because you have the announcement of measures that sound very good if it is implemented, but again, the question of implementation. And that's the biggest concern that I think most people have. And if it is that the government is able to implement most, if not all, of the measures announced in yesterday's budget, the economy and by extension Trinidad and Tobago, I think, will be all the better for it.
Yeah.
But the leader of the opposition, it always amazes me. You have a prepared response to the budget even before you hear the budget. How? You're psychic? You have a crystal ball, you know what the minister was going to say so that you could prepare a speech? And that just goes to show you that they are not about country. That just goes to show you they are about opposing for the sake of opposing. That you could write out you have a whole prepared speech, just licking up the budget, and you don't know what is in the budget. Right? Because at the end of the session yesterday, the speaker would have announced to members that their budget packages are available downstairs for them when they leave it. So we know that none of them had before. But then again, you never know, because it seems that the UNC have their minions in different ministries and different agencies who always passing information to the leader of the opposition. She just seems to be getting stuff in her mailbox. So I'm surprised she didn't say yesterday she got a copy of the budget in her mailbox a couple of days ago. Hence the reason she was able to prepare this. But same old rhetoric, it was long and rhetoric and short and substance and so on. I saw last night they interviewed this guy was on, was it CNC3 or TV6? David Lee. Apparently he forgot to put on his toupee. David, don't do that now. Please. No, don't do that. You must never take that toupee off. The man looked like one of them characters from, the Leroy series, something like so. Yeah. You have a ball head baker.
Oh, gosh.
What disrespect to the man, but God. David Lee don't do that now.
He's way up.
No. Yeah, he's way up. Jeez, boy. No, I understand why you wear it.
I am not
Continue to do so. Don't hit with that. Wait, market pull that off, not you, sir. But anyway, There was also Diane Haddad, never to be, she's an ex-one, Bruce, had to find fault. There were so many things announced in that budget yesterday to benefit Tobago, with the number of hotels and so on, the increase in the allocation to Tobago, direct and indirect. So they got something in the vicinity, I think, of about $3.5 billion, an increase of what they would normally get. So they got, I think, 4.5% of the budget. And I know I would have seen an article a couple of days ago where Vanus James was quoted as saying if Tobago can get a budget of $3.5 billion for the next few years, that would do them well in terms of their development. So this is the first year. They got 3.5, so we'll see how things go in the coming years. Of course, they will say it's a sweetener because the THA election, the next election coming up, and the government trying to bribe Tobagonians, and so the PNM looking for votes. Farley Augustine said that. We expect Watson Duke to say that today. I haven't seen or heard of it from him and his assessment of the budget yet, but I imagine he's probably going to do a live this morning to bash it or to talk about how the government trying to bribe Tobago and all that. Okay, all right. But we expect nothing positive to come out of the mouths of any member of the opposition in respect to the budget. And I yesterday Facebook was down, and I see they create a meme now with Mark Zuckerberg wearing a PNM jersey.
Yeah, Papa.
So, yeah. So try to say, well, Facebook was down, so, and that was to benefit the PNM, so it wouldn't have the running commentary when Mr. Imbert was delivering the budget, because, all the UNC supporters would have been bashing him constantly and so on, right?
Dominic,
and
we have people in Trinidad, I am telling you, that truly believe that whole outage yesterday was the PNM's doing. They seriously believe Dr. Rowley had something to do with that. Yeah.
Never a dull moment. It really have more people on the outside of the madhouse than who should be inside. More mad people. And as you said, there are people who genuinely will believe that foolishness, that somehow what was the purpose of that? So what? All of the prognostications that we were seeing before, all the memes before yesterday's reading of the budget, Hurricane Imbert come in on Monday, and he come in and it's tax, and he come in to bring more tax, and they go and increase the price of this and increase the price of that. None of these things happened. None. So all of them who was saying all of these things about the government this and the government, they care about poor people and they're doing this and that and expect this. I think it was Sunday, Michaela Pandey. Well, clearly she's trying to revive her political fortunes. So she realized that apparently the vehicle of choice is the property tax. So after she did her 5-minute rant that we played the other day, Sunday she did a half an hour program on her Facebook page with her father and Prakash Ramadan. And they were talking about the property tax and a whole set of misleading information about people concerned that they will take their property if they can't pay and all of that. And they were expecting that. I don't know. You see, because Bruce, it's easy to say these things because, as you said, if people could believe that the PNM had something to do with the Facebook outage yesterday and the Instagram and WhatsApp, I mean, obviously, anybody who's opposed to the property tax will say they would love to hear somebody who's a so-called men and women of letters, Mr. Pandey, who some still respect, Prakash Ramadan, and Michaela Pandey talking about the property tax, and therefore the assumption is they would have done their homework, and if they say it's so, it's so. But she said she was expecting the Minister of Finance to announce the date yesterday as to when the property tax would be implemented. And in fact, it was the exact opposite that the minister would have indicated, that it may be a while before the property tax comes into play because there are a number of other things that have to be done. All they're simply doing now is establishing the tax rule, putting the platform in place so that whenever the decision is taken to implement, that there's a smooth rollout and you don't now have to go. So it makes no sense to wait until you're ready to do what you're doing now. Yeah. Put these things in place so that you don't have to frustrate people 3 years from now, whenever it is you decide to implement it, to tell them, well, all who would have gone in 2017 and put through your paperwork, you have to come and do it over again. Do it now.
Yeah.
Establish what needs to establish the tax rule, put everything in place and when you're ready to do it, is a seamless transition. But they see that this is an opportunity to further bash the PNM, right? And further create the narrative that this government wicked and evil. And there are some people, Bruce, and I realized in reading the comments last night, because there were some people yesterday with the shutdown of the 3 main social media platforms. They were like coke addicts and suffering from withdrawal syndrome. They don't know what to do with themselves. What could do? Some people, like they discovered it, they pick up a book. What is this? Yeah. A lot of people like that. I mean, I had to be calling some of my friends, to see, you okay? Are you alright? Yeah. It just shows, Bruce, how dependent people have become on these social media platforms as a means of relief, that it has become an integral part of their day. So I see people every minute, this thing come back up yet, boy? Turn up their phone and restarting the phone because they figure it's something with the internet. It was madness. Like fish out of water, but anyway. Yeah. But all of these people, so, I was reading last night, so they couldn't wait. All the trolls, they couldn't wait to come on Facebook and start to bash. And there was very few things they could have bashed about the budget. So the only things the UNC trolls could have talked about is, what about milk and butter and cheese? So it's only pigtail and curry. What we go to curry, pigtail, and all kind of. Yeah. What about the rest are basic food items? So I didn't take VAT off of that. But all them things he talked about there, Kamala had done take VAT off of that already. So what? He just come now and do what Kamala had. All kind of nonsense. That was the only thing they talk about, Bruce. The only thing they could have talked about was that. So whole time last night, I only had to be posting the 2016 notice with all the other food items that have been VAT-free since 2016. I fed up. Post it. I just going through comments. Read that. It's so ridiculous. One person said, but they could take VAT off of tampons. I had to go since 2016. Read that. If only, I'm like, wow. You people, just because you want to comment, you're clueless.
Yeah,
so I had to come out to Detroit. I get fed up. It had one called John Harila. Well, he and I was back and forth at it. And I only had to be posting articles. Till when he get fed up now, he ball all he doing is posting editorials to support the PNM. But what about then he posted up some article with where he was talking about the number of people who live in poverty and so on. So I asked him, I said, so is it that between 2010 to 2015 all of these people were wealthy? Because that between that period of time the country had its highest energy revenues according to Kamala. And all these people only became poor after the 2015 election. So it had no poor people in Trinidad between 2010 and 2015. It's only now they get poor. When money was running. And there's a dotage talk that I can't understand. But anyway, as I said, that was the main bone of contention that they had there. There wasn't much else in the budget that they could argue with, and I wait patiently to see what Mrs. Pasabi Cecil is going to come with on Friday, what Saddam Hussein is going to write for her to read.
Remember last year, well, after the budget was read, and they would come and do a debate, they spoke nothing about the budget. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because there was nothing to talk about. This budget is better than the budget from last year. So, we hear what they will come and talk about.
Yeah.
We could pick it before it happened. No, Dominic, just let the week pass. By Thursday, I sure we could come on right here and say, they're going to talk about X, Y, and Z.
Well, the amount of work post Saddam had to do for the next couple of days, the whole bed could turn green now. Whole thing. Yeah. Problems. Nothing of substance. And I don't know, I wait to see what Mark Rudal Munilal comment to bus. Because, I think last year was he probably nanan. Every budget debate in his contribution, he have a Mark to bus. Since with the A-Vigilant thing, and I see there was a development in that matter, I think it was back in August, where he had applied to strike out certain certain paragraphs or something in some situations. So anyway, he lost, and the judge ordered that he had to pay costs to Dr. Rowley for that particular action. I think so. The matter is further is supposed to come up again sometime in early 2022. So it ain't looking too good for him, right? Just like his colleagues, his former colleagues, Ram Logan and Ram Dean, where I see where their matter would have come up, as was mentioned a few days ago, but for some reason it wasn't covered by the media. I don't know, the media could argue and say, well, you know, we would have covered it if it was physical and they were walking into the courthouse. But because it's virtual, we don't know. There's the argument. We don't know what it is that's going on. But it was reported that Mr. Kewal Singh, Roger Kewal Singh, embattled former commissioner of the Police Service Commission, who is an attorney for the main witness, Vincent Nelson, indicated that Mr. Nelson is ready, willing, anxious, and able to testify against Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Ram Dean. Yes, and that, but now, remember the DPP had indicated that he wants to have the matter go directly to bypass the magistrate's court, the preliminary inquiry, and go straight to the High Court, because he's of the view that the evidence that they have is substantial enough for conviction. Now there seems to be some negotiation taking place between defense attorneys for Ram Logan and Ram Dean and the DPP's office, where Pamela Elder is arguing the case, and Wayne Sturge, that the matter should go through the preliminary inquiry, which is going to drag this thing out for years if they do that. But when this case called now, and then there's another 6 months again, it's ridiculous. And justice denied, justice delayed is justice denied. And as Andrew, and I knew Andrew for a while, I don't know what's going on, Andrew, always talking about that whenever this matter come up, you ain't seen or hearing about it in the media. But now they're trying all kind of things. They want to go through the preliminary inquiry process. And here's my thing, Bruce, if you are so convinced that your clients are innocent, and that if it goes to the High Court, that what evidence the state has is not sufficient and that they will be acquitted, well, expedite the matter and go to the High Court now and prove your case, because you're saying they're innocent, and whatever any evidence that they have is of no consequence, and I'm confident that my clients are going to get up. Well, then go to the High Court and let me get why you want to go through and drag the thing out to the magistrate's court, and then so that they could enjoy a few more years outside. Or you hope that Vincent Nelson's cancer will progress and he dies before the matter reaches the High Court for him to testify? Is that it? Come now, man. Better than that.
Guys, we go into a break and we'll be right back.
When we come back on the other side at 7 o'clock, we'll get into the budget.
Yeah, so nice.
Tune into the Street 91.9 FM.
Every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
For the Repairing of the Breach radio program with me, Bishop Showinau Thomas.
The scripture says, "And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places.
Thou shalt raise up the foundation of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairers of the breach, the restorers of the paths to dwell in."
Don't miss it. Repairing the Breach radio program with Bishop Sherwin R. Thomas on the Street 919 FM every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Sign up and save with Green Dot. When you subscribe to any of our broadband packages, you get 30% off the installation fee, allowing you to stream your favorite shows on any of your devices. Update your social media accounts and connect with friends and family. Stay on top of the class with online learning sessions, or keep your team in the loop with virtual meetings, all at an affordable price. This is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 224-GDOT today to sign up and save with Green Dot, improving and simplifying lives.
Are you one of the tens of thousands of persons in Trinidad and Tobago who have already received the COVID-19 vaccine? Then remember that you must follow the health guidelines. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance from others. The health guidelines and the COVID-19 vaccine, a powerful combination that can help save livelihoods, save lives, and get us back to doing the things we love to do. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Land Capital Certificates is a passive income service company located at Princess Margaret Street in San Fernando and 5th Street South Woodbrook. At Land Capital, investing is made simple. You invest with us. We make the investments and then you collect returns either monthly or yearly. We have 5 different options you can choose from, and each investment option comes with different benefits starting from TT $5,000. For more information, contact 399-0307. Len Capital Certificates. It's all about you.
If you're experiencing pain, constipation, headaches, poor blood circulation, high or low blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, swollen or darkened feet, come visit us at Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. We at Health and Wealth Lifestyle offer a wide range of services. Come and experience our new 3D analyzer, which allows you to have a look inside your body. We also provide live blood analysis, iridology, ionic foot detox with foot soak and foot massage, aquatherapy, full body massage, and organic supplements on sale such as Nano Silver, Nano Zinc, Body Light, cold pressed sesame oil, and more. Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at number 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. For more information, call 275-8359 or 288-1108.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's Radio.
The Church of the Firstborn Assembly of number 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco, Sangre Grande, is pleased to present Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson and guest. Sundays, Tuesdays, and Friday night, Sunday Ministry of Worship, Children Hour and the Word from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesdays, see Jesus in every book of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation from 9 p.m. and Friday night, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. all night prayer for our nation. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell everyone. For further information, visit with us at www.churchofthefirstbornassembly.org or on Facebook. Email us at church668hope@gmail.com or call us at 753-1113 or 236-7271. Your free gifts and offerings will be greatly appreciated at Church of the Firstborn Assembly, account number 795222 at the First Citizens Bank.
Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yo, this is your boy Ziggy Rankin, and right now you're listening to the Titans of Democracy. You don't know. Real talk.
So welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're locked on to the Street 919 FM. This is your Titans of Democracy with Dominic Romaine and Bruce Wayne. Let me say good morning to Nigel and Mercy. Good morning, guys. I just had to laugh. Good morning, guys. Good morning. So, Dominic, our WhatsApp is up and running. Angie, good morning. I don't like Angie Reason.
Yeah.
Angie, good morning. Hey.
Right, so you have both things there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll be able to play the video, the first one with Obama, because it's a video that's embedded in an article.
Oh. I studied if you get.
I don't know if it is. You might just play that one from your phone.
Let me see if it would because I did get it to open up. Let me see.
The young lady seems like a perfectly nice person. She's
yeah.
All right, play that one first.
All right, so you want the video as well, or just play the audio?
No, you can just play the audio.
Okay, cool.
The young lady seems like a perfectly nice person. She's getting her award. What's he doing?
Why would he do that?
He's a jackass. No, all this stuff.
That's what King said.
I'm assuming all this stuff. Where's the pool? Come on, guys. Cut the president some slack.
Right. So you see, he was preparing there, Bruce, for an interview, right? And just off camera. Well, he thought it was off camera banter, and he was asked a question about Kanye West in respect to that was when Kanye West went on stage with Taylor Swift and she was supposed to get her award, and he said and so right and so in the same situation. So you see, he's like, give the president some slack or whatever it is and whatnot. The same thing. The man said something in a private setting. But you didn't see people calling down fire and brimstone, and Obama must go, and he's unfit to be president, and so on. But in Trinidad here, Rowley must go, Rowley. Yeah, boy. Bruce, avocado have an L in it?
A L?
Yeah.
Not as I know of.
Well, try as I might, I went through several dictionaries trying to Googling avocado, and I can't find it. Play the second clip for me, please.
Hi, I'm Hudson Joe, and I'm holding my hands here. Some avocado, pear, some avocado, pear, all the way from my tree in Tobago.
Nobody lives there.
This is testimony that agriculture in Tobago is still a fruitful thing. The soil is still
I heard right? You with avocado too, right?
That why, yeah. Why you just do that? You just
I don't know.
Do that.
That's just as bad as I am a manager. Okay. Avocado, well, that's a new one for me, boy. Yeah, boy.
Okay,
Mr. Duke, take win.
Why he does do that? I don't know why this man does do that. What's the reason for doing that? He purposely
repeated it though. Avocado. Okay, all right. Okay. Anyway.
But he did say Zabuka.
Yeah, say that now. But then he might not say Zalboka. He had to put that L inside it.
Oh, good.
What's the good for comic relief? If anything. I have waited breath to hear your assessment of the budget. Speaking of budget, Bruce, for me, I listened to some of the experts last night giving their take on the budget, and there are some people that you look forward to hearing, and for me, I wouldn't call the names, but for me last night listening to some of them, it was a disappointment because they started off their discourse in their assessment of the budget talking about, well, they find there wasn't enough in the budget for the poor and the economically disadvantaged, and what about all the people who were affected by COVID and the people who lost their jobs or who got a reduction in salary and so on and whatnot. And some of these people are economists, Bruce. But when you listen to them, you would get the distinct impression that the budget is really supposed to be a wish list for persons who are on the lower ends of the economic ladder. When in fact the budget really is supposed to be a comprehensive document of plans by the government to benefit the entire society and not just one section of the society. So most people will listen to the budget is the same things they expect to hear. They want to hear an increase in pension. They want to hear an increase in the different social welfare grants. There's always what in the budget for the poor? What's in the budget for the poor? As if the only way the poor and economically disadvantaged could benefit from the state is through handouts and by increasing the level of dependency through transfers and subsidies, right? But if it is that the government uses the budget to create incentives for the private sector in particular to boost economic activity, then that also helps the poor because it creates jobs.
Yeah.
It will increase aggregate demand in the economy, and as businesses make more money, the expectation is that they would be in a position to further invest. They would be in a position to provide additional benefits for their employees and also increase wages and salaries and so on. But this mindset that we have in Trinidad that the government must always give, find money and just give direct transfers to the poor. I mean, come on. And they keep talking about, look how much people suffering in the country and whatnot. So you want what? The government to provide more money to give more hampers? Instead of creating incentives to boost the economy? And these are economists and men and women of letters who should be telling us better. So it had a heated exchange last night. I think it was on CNC3 between the Minister of Public Administration, Alison West, and former Minister of Finance, Karen Nunes Teixeira. And I have to say, somebody who was a former PNM Minister of Finance, I don't know what is Mrs. Teixeira's issue, but I listen to her from time to time on Louis Leesing's television station where she's a co-host on their morning talk show. And she's very, very critical of this government. I don't know, she don't like the best bone in this government, Bruce. So her contention last night was that this budget, that the measures announced by the minister, the only people who will benefit from it is the wealthy in the country and whatnot. And she talked about the procurement legislation and the government watering down the legislation and which takes away the teeth and the ability of the legislation to bring about certain changes and so on. And as Alison West had to point out to her, it is not that the government went about looking to water down the legislation. No. We know that the legislation needs to be passed, but unfortunately, it requires the support of the opposition. And because the opposition is very obstinate that they're not going to give any support for it, then we had to make adjustments to the legislation to get something passed rather than nothing at all. Yeah. Because if we sit back and we simply wait for the opposition, none of these things will get passed. So half a loaf is better than none. And of course, Mrs. Nunes Teixeira had to concede. But then she's saying, to what end? And to what end? Well, talk to why you don't blast the opposition and call them out on their folly and their foolishness for seeing the need to oppose everything. They have issues with every single piece of legislation. Always talking about what that is draconian and the legislation and trying to use the average citizen to see that the government will use this legislation to take advantage of poor people. And the hidden thing, Bruce, is always that when you look at these different pieces of legislation, is the fact that members of the UNC, the upper echelons of the UNC, from an economic standpoint, that all these pieces of legislation that the UNC continues to oppose is really intended to, well, not just them, but persons, to deal with persons who have money, persons who might have gotten their money through or whose wealth is basically ill-gotten gains, is to protect them. So you don't want the property tax because you know all who have 3 and 4 and 5 house, who build in $1 million mansions and so on, you don't want them to have to pay property tax. So all who financing your party and telling you, well, you have to deal with that, so no. If all you want continued financing, make sure you block that. Government bring any type of legislation that is intended to go after white-collar crime, blue-collar crime, they have an issue with that too. Why? To protect your financiers? Is that it? Oh Lord, Aji, oh Lord, man. But Bruce, coming back to the issue, right? So there were some things for me that stood out in the budget. First and foremost is the minister's instruction to the CPO to engage the various unions in negotiations to settle outstanding issues, outstanding wage negotiations. And he would have highlighted the nurses. As we know, the nurses have been in the public space, the public domain within recent times with their representative union head, Mr. E.D. Stewart, who one of the laments that he had was that there are a lot of nurses in the public sector who are working based on contract, and they've been on contract for many years. And now those contracts are supposed to be regularized, so we're looking at permanency for these nurses, and it also brings into the fore the whole issue of pension.
Right.
So, and I must commend Mr. Stewart in that he was one first out of the gate to thank and to commend the government for that particular measure. Of course, you know, you would have the naysayers who will say, yeah, well, I just talk and talk, but when it comes to the negotiations, they're going to drag it out for another how many years and so on. But it's a step in the right direction. And if the minister is genuine, which I believe that he is, I think, or I would like to believe, that he would make sure that there is some sort of headway in respect to that. So education got the highest budget, again, $6.886 billion. But you will have those who will complain that where the money going, and what they're going to do with that 6-point-something billion, and the school's still in a mess, and all of that. Anyway, health got 6.395 billion, national security 5.6, works and transport 3.5, public utilities 2.6, local government 1.656, agriculture 1.249, housing 610 million. And I noted last night that Mrs. Nunes Teixeira, she was of the view that the size of the allocation to a ministry would determine or speaks to the level of government's commitment to that particular sector. And she was bemoaning that agriculture only got $1.249 billion. And if it is that we are targeting the agricultural sector to reduce the food import bill and to bring down the price of food, that more money should have been allocated to the agriculture sector. And as Alison West had to point out to her, that notwithstanding the budgetary allocation, one, people need to take into account this fact, right? Bruce, this is the initial allocation. We know that we're going to have a mid-year review where ministries are allowed to make requests for further monies, right? Sometime around March, between March and May next year. So this is not the final allocation, because oftentimes what happens, Bruce, is with the budget, while allocations are made and announced in the budget, you would find that there are certain projects that may not get off the ground. So while it was intended and the minister would have spoken to it, and as the budget, the actual debate gets underway, the Minister of Agriculture and the other line ministers will speak more specifically to certain issues. Not all projects get off the ground, which means that the money that would have been allocated for these projects can now be channeled to something else.
Right.
But Alison West also pointed out to the fact that the government intends to engage in a number of public-private partnerships where they would invite the private sector to invest their money so that the state doesn't have such a large outlay with respect to that particular sector. So one of the things that she was pointing out is that the government intends to give out land to a number of different persons. I know they started the process of giving out lands to former Petrotrin workers, and the expectation is that they would then invest their own monies, especially with the agricultural plots, to develop it so that the government doesn't have to put out the money for that. But what the government will do is provide incentives for persons to become or to get involved in agriculture without the state having to put out all of that money. But again, as a former finance minister, you would think that Mrs. Nunes Teixeira would know that. But anything to criticize the government. Not surprising. Then there's the issue of works and transport, 3.5 billion. I know a lot of people will be wanting to know how much of that will be going towards paving roads, because the issue right now is the amount of potholes in the country. The minister did indicate that he intends to set up, or the government rather intends to set up a separate entity that would be responsible for road rehabilitation specifically to deal with that, because there needs to be a definition between which roads belong to local government bodies and which roads fall under the Ministry of Works and Transport directly. And because of that differentiation, those lines are blurred. Oftentimes, anytime it have potholes, people always blame the government and the Ministry of Works and Transport, not understanding that some of these roads fall under local government, their respective corporations, and they will claim too that they don't have the money. Which brings us back to the issue of the property tax. And the minister mentioned it in the budget that the income from property tax is intended to supplement the monies that would go to the local government bodies for them to deal with these issues. But again, we don't want property tax. Right now, Bruce, the price of oil, the price of natural gas, well, it has improved significantly. Well above what would have been budgeted, so that the government would have earned additional revenue based on, because I think last year's budget was based on an oil price of $45 and gas price of $3.75, both of which have been higher in the last few months. So those additional revenues that the government would have earned hopefully would reduce the size of the budget deficit. Deficit for this fiscal 2021-2022 is projected at about $9 billion, but again, depending on how long this oil and gas price rally lasts, we could probably see a reduction in that deficit. And also, too, depending on how many of the projects announced by the minister come off the ground, that too will determine the size of the deficit. But we know the UNC going and talk about that, because the minister announced that he expects the debt to GDP ratio is going to go up again for 2022. I think it's now 84%, and he expects it to go to 87%. Right, so they got to focus. That's going to be one of the main focus, right? To talk about the government is only increasing the debt to GDP ratio. But the thing is, that again could be fixed if it is that we find a way to increase GDP. And therefore, if the price of oil and the price of gas it remains high for a significant period of time in the next fiscal, then obviously GDP is going to go up, which is going to result in a reduction. So even though the minister announced that he expects it to go to 87, that may not necessarily be the case. But the UNC going to beat that like a rented mule. We know that, right? So, yeah. But I think all in all, Bruce, to me, based on I didn't get opportunity to listen to the entire thing, but some of the announcements that were made by the minister, to me, it's a budget that is intended to, one, stimulate the economy, right? Because there've been a lot of incentives there, particularly for the small and micro enterprises. And two, it's a budget that finally addresses some of the issues or seeks to provide for the middle class. Because one of the main complaints that we've had in the last few years is that the budget either caters for persons on the lower end of the economic spectrum or those higher up. But in between the middle class, there's precious little that they get. And the majority of the middle class, as we know, is made up of persons who are involved in the small and medium enterprise sector. And there's been a lot of stuff in this budget for them. So finally, that sector of the economy is being treated with in a meaningful way. I recall when this guy came here some years ago, the chef who killed himself, Anthony Bourdain, when he had that interview with the Syrian Lebanese family, where that 1% terminology developed from.
Yeah.
One of the speakers had indicated his concern that the middle class was dwindling. And he said that the middle class was the buffer between the haves and the have-nots. And their concern was, if the middle class disappears, then that divide between the haves and the have-nots, there is no buffer to protect them, so that the have-nots will then come after the haves, right? So that's probably good news for them, because the middle class will now expand and probably last a little longer, so they don't have to worry for a while to come, right? So instead of they come into rub all, which is my interpretation, they rub the middle class worse, so we see.
Yeah. I'm going to open dogs.
The way these people think, Bruce? Yes. Yes, sir. So, real economic activity is expected to contract slightly, as non-energy is expected to contract at the same rate as the energy sector, minus 1%. So, essentially, we are still experiencing the effects of COVID, which would have had an impact, obviously, on private enterprise. A number of businesses would have closed because they simply did not have the wherewithal to survive the pandemic shutdowns, which would have resulted also in a loss of economic opportunity, a loss of employment opportunity for some. That would have had an impact, obviously, on the government's ability to collect income tax from some people who would have lost their jobs, corporate tax from some of these businesses. But hopefully, as the vaccination rate picks up and the local economy reopens more and more, there should be some recovery in that particular area. Just now, and some of the other highlights for me, what was it, boy? Right, reduction of the tax rate by 5% for significant exporters of local goods. So the government is now providing a tax incentive to ramp up the export sector so that we could, one, earn more foreign exchange, because now there is an incentive for the manufacturing sector to increase their output with a focus on export. The hope is, of course, that those precious US dollars that they will be earning from these exports, that it would be banked in Trinidad and not outside, as appears to be the situation now. Again, the banks, seemingly, depending on how the allocation process is, some people, business owners, just don't have the confidence in the banks to be able to provide them with US when they need it, especially when they know they have US in the bank and the bank is telling them they can't access their own US. And that is now a disincentive for some of these manufacturers when they earn their precious foreign exchange to bring it back here. So a lot of them have opted to open bank accounts outside. And so the money is staying outside and the country is not really benefiting from it. But it is expected that this measure will impact some 500 exporters at a cost of some $45 million, effective January 1, 2022. And a similar reduction is also envisaged for small and micro enterprise companies whose core business is technology solutions and digitization, which contributes more than 50% of annual revenues. That too is expected to take place in effective January 1, 2022. So again, more good news for small and micro enterprises. The increase in the tax allowance for first-time homeowners on the interest that they would pay on their mortgage from $25,000 to $30,000. So last year, the government would have increased the stamp duty ceiling for first-time homeowners from 1.5 million to 2 million. And this is after a previous increase of 850,000 to 1.5 to 2 million. So first-time homeowners were already saving money in that regard, and now they're going to save further with this increase in the amount of that they can claim against their mortgage interest. And this is to take effect from January 1, 2022. So again, more good stuff there for the middle class. Customs duties, motor vehicle, and VAT. Motor vehicle tax and VAT is to be removed on the importation of battery-powered electric vehicles with an age limit of no more than 2 years, effective January 1, 2022. So for those of us who are inclined to purchase such vehicles, I know we already have quite a few in the country. I think the Ioniq is one such vehicle. Already heard Mr. Babwa complaining. I think he has an issue with the age limit that he finds it should probably be 4 years or so instead of 2. But again, Mr. Babwa, half a loaf is better than none at all. You all have been asking for this and you're getting it, and this is to run for at least the next 2 years, and it would be reviewed in 2 years' time. So who knows, maybe in 2 years the minister might decide to increase the age limit to 3 years or 4 years as you're requesting. But oh gosh, just thank God for small mercies now. Okay? Once you all have reasonable prices, I think that people would be inclined to purchase, because certainly that will still cost less, especially with the liberalization of the fuel sector coming very soon. Depending on how that goes, some people might want to purchase electric vehicles altogether, and so not to have that headache about fluctuation in fuel prices. There's also the divestment of over 10 million per citizen shares to raise 550 million for the government. So that is basically free money that the government could raise there. So it's an opportunity for the average citizen to now become shareholders in First Citizens Bank. So whenever this APU comes out, please take advantage of it. Do not, you all remember the last time when they had the NIF and Kamala told all you do invest your money in that because it's a Ponzi scheme. Well, we've seen every 6 months over $100 odd million being paid in interest. All of you who took Kamala's advice and didn't invest, you all lose out on that. Okay? So if it is that they come with any nonsense now to tell you about who they're selling out these state assets, who they're selling it to? Or they went and sell out First Citizens Bank to the 1%, that talk come in. Because who could afford, all the poor people, who could afford to buy SCB shares? Well, if you want to leave your money sit down in the bank and earn less than 1% interest rather than invest in FCB shares and earn some dividends, well, that's on you. So, list of basic food items to no longer attract VAT includes biscuits, cooking oil, ketchup, bottled water, curry, and pigtail, and the full list to be published on November 1st. So again, UNC people, hold all your hand now. The whole list coming out on November 1st. Relax. Okay? Wait until November 1st and then all it could cost the government. Educate all yourself, please. And when the list comes out, I suggest that you all print it, laminate it, and stick it up in your house. Put it up on the wall. So the next time you want to go on Facebook and complain that this is bad, and just go and check the list first before you embarrass yourself, please. Just a word to the wise. Colin looking too good right now, right? So, yeah, Bruce. The minister also announced bid rounds to include 11 deep water blocks, 12 land blocks, and 25 water blocks. So we're looking to see if it is that we can ramp up our exploration activities, find more oil, find more gas. And with current prices, that obviously is going to be good news for the country. My biggest concern, Bruce, with respect is that notwithstanding all of the incentives that the minister would have announced to encourage private sector investment in the local economy, is that investment dollars follow investment opportunities. And right now, everybody, as I said before, running to Guyana to invest. We've had a lot of local businesses that are in the process of setting up shop in Guyana to take advantage of the inflow of US dollars, because it seems everybody from around the world, you see in articles all the time with people rushing to Guyana with the prospects for more oil to be found. So while our minister was being, for us in Trinidad here, optimism is 86,000 barrels a day in 2022. In Guyana, they're discussing between 900,000 to 1.2 million barrels of oil per day, which is more than 10 times, 12 times what it is we are optimistic about. And I believe even in our heyday, Bruce, when as they like to say, PNM oil boom, I think the highest we reached in terms of daily oil production based on what I would have seen before was about 300,000 barrels a day. So even in our best years, we still weren't producing at what Guyana is producing or envisaged to produce between 900,000 to 1.2 million barrels per day. Right? That's kind of Middle East production and so on. Right? So all we want to talk and say, well, depending on what takes place in Guyana in the coming years, see, look how Guyana used the money. Just remember, we didn't have the kind of oil production that Guyana has and has the potential to have. Okay? So take that into consideration too now. And What else, boy? Well, as I said, the property tax, we don't know again when that is going to be implemented, but based on the minister's utterances, it doesn't seem like the actual implementation of the tax is going to come in anytime soon. That we're just in the preparatory stage, so you all can relax on that, right? Poor Michaela Pandey, if you was hoping to use that to get back into the people's good graces, you have a while to go yet. Business support, you know, I mentioned Diane had that before, Bruce.
Yeah.
And her complaint, the only thing she could find to complain about, right, is the SME loan that the government, the 300 million that the government had provided during COVID to assist small and micro enterprises, businesses that previously, initially when the measure was announced, businesses that had a turnover between $1 million to $25 million a year would qualify for the loans. And then the minister came a month or so ago and he revised it so that businesses, and he reduced the floor and increased the ceiling. So businesses that earn or had a turnover of 500,000 to 25 million could now benefit. And what he also did was to remove the limits on how much you could borrow. So depending on your need situation, and he also expanded what you could borrow the money for. And her complaint is that it had issues before and kinks in it, and we brought these kinks to the attention of the government, and now they're coming back again to try and make it. Over 200 small and micro enterprises, Bruce, accessed loans under that program. And it worked perfectly. And the minister identified what were the main issues why persons weren't qualifying for the loans. One, because they were behind on their statutory payments, whether it was their taxes, NIS contributions, and so on. But again, to accommodate, rather than say, to hell with all you all owing these money so you don't qualify, let's work with these people, right, to help them sustain their business and keep their business afloat. They said we will accept if it is that your statutory payments were up to date up to 2018, and we will give you a year to fix 2019 and 2020 to sort out your business, right? So we're willing to overlook that and still give you the money. Government also said previously it was a 50% guarantee on the part of the government, because they said if it is we give 100% guarantee, we know there are people who will take advantage of that, borrow the money and just not pay it back, and then it goes to the government to repay. Even that was relaxed, so now you have 100% guarantee. So if you borrow the money and you don't repay, the government has to pay that. So the only impact that will have on the business itself is that it would affect your credit rating, because your credit report would show that you borrowed money and you didn't pay back.
That's right.
But you don't have to find the money. There's no obligation on your part to find the money to repay the loan. She wouldn't talk about all of these things. But we had problems and had issues before, and now they're coming back to try a thing, and the budget was confusing. Ridiculous. The minister announced, aside from the Marriott that is supposed to come in Tobago, they have the Comfort Inn and so on. $50 million allocated to assist again with the refurbishment of hotels and so on, and to promote and to help to develop the tourism sector in Tobago. All of these things. The airport is proceeding. The construction of the airport, despite pushback from a lot of people who saying why they need to do over the airport and why they need an international airport in Tobago. In Dominica, they're spending over $1 billion, Bruce, to build an international airport. Dominica has a population of 72,000 people? Come on now, man. This is the backward thinking, which is why things just can't progress. You always have these people who will sit down and look at it and say, well, let me see what's the negative I could think about with this and talk that.
Well, and that is just some of the things that I personally don't understand, because if you want to talk about Tobago being independent, so an international airport is not a step in that direction. Just saying.
There you go.
I want to believe that if it is, we want independence, just saying.
Yeah.
International airport is a step in that direction. So you're going to be independent and everybody fly to Piarco and then transit to Tobago?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then of course if you expand the airport, you have more gates, more terminals, and if you could now invite additional airlines to come to Tobago directly. But they're not seeing that, you know. And this clown, Philip Edward Alexander, talking about you want an airport that could accommodate 3 million people, but only 8,000 people coming to Tobago, and all kind of brutishness.
No, because you see that is the thinking here. That is not the forward thinking, you see, and they will always get that from these individuals because they can see past their nose, you know.
Yes.
But you want to be Prime Minister.
Yeah.
To keep we in a bubble.
Yes.
Right, okay.
And of course, they will call the hotel, the airport, a vanity project. That we don't need to spend all that money on the airport. That money can be better spent on the health sector and spent on education and on paving road. So the tourists will come and we will take them to see the hospital and we'll carry them to see the schools. Come and see our secondary schools. Look how nice. Come and see the children sit down in the classroom. Come and see the state, our beautifully paved roads. You want to see? Come, drive on our roads. Yeah, that's what we take them to see. They're so ridiculous. Bruce, the Singapore airport, in and of itself, is a tourist attraction. People go to Singapore just to see the airport. That's to tell you. Now, if we had an airport like that here, a vanity project, what all the money they spend on that airport. Meanwhile, same Singapore that they love to use to compare, spend ton of money to build this airport with this waterfall kind of thing that they have in the center of the airport. I tell you, people go to Singapore just to see the airport. But in Trinidad here, leave the airport as it is. So when one big plane come in, British Airways, and the plane and the tarmac, well, right. Yeah, all you have to wait. Just all you, pull out it. Let this plane go first, because we have enough room for the rest of it to come in. Right? Yeah.
Because
that's what they like.
That is one of the small car parks in town. You know?
Yeah.
And a building.
Yeah.
And the thing, you see, just now, let me see.
Yeah.
You don't want to pay it, so. Yeah, you pay. Yeah. Full of crap, yes.
we want developed country status. We want to be first world. But with that third world mindset. Some of that third world is, even to say they have a third world mindset is still too good for them. Because they're just about negativity and because they don't like Rowley and they don't like the PNM, criticize. But as I said, well, I look forward to the coming days to see the UNC what they had to see.
It's not that they don't like Dominic. The problem is the ideas to carry Trinidad and Tobago forward. They didn't come up with those ideas.
Right.
So they know that the ideas to take us forward, yes, it is going to bring favor. And that's what they don't want. Because if our good friend Mr. Duke could say, when he gets into power, Sandals will come back. So then now you're admitting that Sandals would have been a great investment then. Because you like greatness. I hope people are reading between the lines, you know. Because everything that the present government is putting in place is for the people. According to you, Dominic, you just have to know what you're doing, how you're doing it, what is your individual plans to go forward, and then you access whatever you need to access to go forward. And stop sitting down and waiting for somebody to bring something for you, because I could tell you personally, if you're waiting for somebody to bring something for you, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. If you don't get up and go and do what you have to do, brother man, don't expect nobody to bring nothing for you. And we need to come out of that. So all the little initiatives, our councillor, Akila, good morning, my dear. She always sends different things to my phone showing all the little programs that have coming up for the youths and all these different things. So those talk about what the PNM doing, what they doing, what is the government doing, them doing nothing. You don't know. So try to find out before you talk that nonsense. And for anybody
and this administration is doing more with less.
Exactly.
More with less, and that's what they can't take. Because when the PP had all that money between 2010 to 2015, some of the things that this administration is doing, they didn't do. So now digitization is big with this administration. So everything now, you just go on your laptop, you book an appointment for your passport, and it come home to you in a week. You book an appointment for your driver's license or whatever it is, and more things are being digitized to save people the trouble having to go and stand up in a line. But they couldn't do that when money was running.
And that's
what they vex. That's what they vex about.
You see, because again, vision. You come into power and you realize, what boy, all this money there, boy? What boy? You get noticed, you start a rah. Well, okay, one for you, one for me. Two for you, 1, 2 for me. 3 for you, 1, 2, 3 for me, and that was going on.
Yep. Yeah.
So come on.
And they won that back because I mean one of the things that impressed me too with yesterday's budget was the announcement by the minister of the establishment of what they call transition homes for children who would have grown up in the orphanages and these homes like St. Jude's and so on. And usually when they reach 18, they just thrown out on the street and go and fend for yourself without that support for them to transition. And so now with these transition homes, when they reach 18, there's somewhere that they could now go and probably learn a trade or some skill or something that would help them to better assimilate into this new reality of having to go out into the world and fend for themselves, which is something that is desperately needed because when you send them out there after they've been nurtured in these foster homes or whatever it is or the orphanages for all these years, they're not cultured to understand how am I supposed to operate independently when you are just casting out without a home where you're supposed to go. So I think that is a very good initiative and kudos to the government. I said a lot of other stuff that we could discuss and we'll probably discuss it on Thursday going forward. But Sunday we will discuss Kamala's response. But like I time we can put it like that. Yeah.
Comic relief on Sunday?
Oh yes.
Oh my word. Eh. Oh boy.
So you can go ahead and open the lights, Bruce.
I know, boy. I don't know what we want again, boy. Guys, you can call us up 342-0081, 466-5391, and I'm asking everybody to be mindful of the time that they spend, giving their contribution, you know. I'm not going to cut you off, but I do ask that you be mindful. Caller, good morning.
Hi, morning, Bruce. Morning, Dominic.
Morning.
Morning.
Hi, morning, Tony. 91.9. As you said, I was happy to hear that the Minister of Finance has instructed the CPO, that is Dr. Darrell Dinia, to commence with negotiations. Our public officers to know, while that is very exciting, the unions have to go with the proposal, the wage proposal. I'm not worried about the other unions because I know they have competent expertise within their union who will be able to produce before that CPO something comprehensive that could stand acceptable. My concern is with PSA. We do not have a competent team to go before the CPO to present anything. Because you would have seen under the past CPO, Ms. Angela Grovas, how negotiations is a breakdown with Duke jumping on the desk and insulting the CPO and chaos and mayhem. And I will tell you, coming out of that, there was nothing before her. So I'm not confident that there's anything going to be put forward before this new CPO. So public officers, please, all who in your section, make sure your general counsel rep, you all get in contact with each other, write, do our documents, and because you all know what is best, you all need within all your sections. What is, because every section has different type of issues, and get those things to PSA and make sure that it is presented and coming out of that, all those things will be put together, documented, so that when it goes before the CPO, there is something comfortable to be handled. In the absence of that, we will get nothing, it was represents nothing. And he will not want the government to look good because he's a politician. So he will not make any extra effort to do anything for us to get anything. So public officers, please mind your business. And it is exciting to hear these negotiations are open again, but we have to go right back to 1460. But you only need to involve in the process because I can't take it up to one. Again, 1,700 voted friends. So those 1,700 people who are the confident in Juke, all they please get the confidence to get together and put pressure on Juke to put something forward properly to the officers. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you. Caller, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Bruce.
Hey, morning.
Good morning, Dominic.
Morning, Brian.
Good morning, listeners and callers of 91.9. Dominic, well, you hit the nail on the head with these as you call them, these trolls and these people. I mean, I listened to a lot of the comments over the last 16 hours, more or less. And the biggest one that really got me, made me laugh was Mariano Brown saying, it's a good con job. Those were his words, a good con job. I've been listening this morning to, as you rightly said, to, what's her name, Diana had nothing good to say. whatsoever. But of course, she can't talk about the But she did mention that the sea bridge still ain't up to market. I don't know what it is she wants. You know, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it is she really wants as far as the sea bridge and the air bridge is concerned. But nothing good to say about what was presented in the budget. I found it was a very good budget. I think the budget did a lot of incentives for manufacturing. Mark Edgell has a problem with services. He thought that the 5% incentive should also have been given to the services section of the country, but that will I don't see how that services will bring that amount of foreign exchange that the manufacturing sector would, because he thought that the government only identified the manufacturing sector, but he has a complaint about the services. And you know, I think it was a good budget. I had only one issue with respect to the car, the electric car issue, in that he says the cars mustn't be older than 2 years. Now that poses a problem because 2 years will be very competitive for the foreign use people, in that it's very close to a practically brand new car, and then on top of that we don't have the outlets, many outlets around the country to regenerate the cars electrically. So I foresee that they may have to step up that game and put them in strategic places around the country as quickly as possible in order to facilitate the purchasing of electric vehicles. I applaud where he says there will be no taxes and so on the vehicle, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be very competitive. With respect to making the nurses who really came out on the day of prayer, you know, I think it was very good of the government to identify the nurses and to assist them with respect to getting permanency, and so that they will have an equitable chance of, you know, getting loans and so on and purchasing their homes and that sort of thing. That was very, very good of him. You know, the transition homes that you were referring to, I think it'll also work for those people who are being sent back from abroad to Trinidad, and, you know, we're just put on a plane to send back here, and they don't have much, you know, most places to go and that sort of thing. So it'll really not only help the youths that are coming up through YTC and so on, but it'll also assist some of the people who may want to get assistance, not only from Miss Giselle Chance, but from, you know, that sort of thing. I think that's a lot of incentive. What else? I think on as a whole, the budget. Of course, we haven't really drilled down into the real thing as yet, but I think the budget they've done a very, very good job. Everybody can't get everything every year. It can't be as the writer said, like gimme type of things. And it's always, and I listened to Prasad Bissessa this morning. It's always about the poor and the indigent and the poor and the poor and the poor and the poor, and they did absolutely nothing for the poor. And you're right, and you were correct. What they did, apparently there were no poor people between 2010 and 2015. You know, I always about the poor and the indigent, but she built a palace and she buy the house next door. She wasn't studying the poor then. You understand? So we're gonna have a lot of negatives from those people. I listen to you know, those economists that well, don't talk about Karen Nunes Teixeira. She had something on her shoulder with respect to the PNN. Maybe she wanted something more from the government, from and she didn't get it, and so she I mean, thank God that Minister West was there to you know, to show her. Well, what you're saying there doesn't really make much sense last night.
Brian, I'll ask you to wrap it up.
Yeah, so but anyway, all in all, it was a good budget. So thanks a lot, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man, no problem. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. We have about 2 minutes or so again before we go to the break. For another caller here. Caller, good morning.
Bruce and Dominic, good morning to you.
Morning.
Dominic,
morning.
you all right? Dominic?
Yes, ma'am.
Bruce,
Oi.
what I know is a biscuit and cheese budget, but I am quite satisfied with that budget, you understand me, Dominic and Bruce?
Yes.
And well, I am waiting on my back pay also, you understand me? But Dominic and Bruce don't know when I get it, I will invite all you for lunch, right?
No problem.
You understand me? I can be waiting. And what I like also too, the pension plan, Bruce.
Okay.
The daily rated workers pension plan. Yes, you understand me, Dominic? You remember that we spoke about that also. You understand me, Bruce? You know,
Yes.
I am the one who had delivered that straight hand to hand.
Yeah.
Yes. They gave it to me, you know, and they told me to take it down, and I did, you know, hand it out where it was supposed to go. So I'm glad to know that, but I'm no longer there, you know, but I'm glad, you know, Bruce, we couldn't get it better than that. And Tobago, I love it. Bruce, I love it. Anyhow, you will have a good one, Dominic. You go
Yes, ma'am.
Dominic, you answer me this morning or what?
Yeah.
Okay, have a good one.
Take care.
You too.
Oh gosh. So guys, we getting ready to go for the break. We take one more quick call. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Bruce and Dominic.
Morning. You have
You
a
know,
few seconds.
people must know they can't get everything in the budget, and it is a gradual process. But there's something they call the Go Train and the Go Bus in Canada. The Go Train is a very good thing for Trinidad, and I think they should consider something like that. You know? Anyway, I will talk about that later. Take care.
Okay, take care. Guys, so we go into the break and we'll be right back. Keep it locked.
Hey, we see the Daniel. Lord. Told him after me now. So all these girls and them. Because I tell them already now, we run the block. You understand? Well, I that just banner. Oh my Lord. Good afternoon, ladies.
Afternoon.
We all are going.
We're going to take our vaccine.
Oh my Lord, can we come with all the two?
Of course.
You take me one time.
Let's go.
Take it.
Take it.
Take it. If you see the woman, take it. She sit down back and take it. She tell me she able, pretending needle. Hey, she start to smile. Take it, just for a while. Take it, let you know she able, pretending needle. If you see the nurse, hey, she come for it first. Not to take this vaccine, it could be a curse. Hey, of course, as a first responder, her priorities in order. Hesitate, girl didn't want to wait. If you see the woman, take it. She sit down back and take it. She tell me she able, pretending needle. She start to smile, take it, just for a while. Take it, let you know she able, pretending needle. I take a joke, she take one joke. I went back for a next joke. She take one stick, I come back 'cause she love it. She take one shot, I went back for a next shot. She take one stick, I come back 'cause she love it. A no woman friend, then come make the grade. They say that me and that, this is a charade. But besides a little swelling and a little dizzy feeling, she had me a mess, thinking about her for this. If you see the woman, take it. She sit down back and take it. The woman, she able, pretending needle. Hey, she start to smile and take it. Just for a while, she take it. Let you know she able, pretending needle. I take a joke, she take one joke. I went back for a next joke. She take one stick, I come back 'cause she love it. She take one shot, I went back for a next shot. She take one stick, I come back 'cause she love it. If you see the woman, take it. She sit down back and take it. The woman, she able, pretending needle. Hey, she start to smile and take it. Just for a while, she take it. Let you know she able, pretending needle. If you see the
What is Apex? It is the pinnacle of high-performance vision through a lens. It's clarity, no matter what angle you look at. It's comfort, no matter what you do all day, every day. And it's customized with every digital measurement your eyes require to see at their very best. Apex Digital Lenses by Value Optical, the ultimate lens design for your eyes. Value Optical, expert care for your eyes.
Looking for a safe and relaxed professional massage therapist and nutritionist? Look no further. Nature's Touch with Empress Judy and Associates offers a natural approach to better health. Treat yourself to a professional massage therapy and nutrition advice in a safe and relaxed atmosphere. Rejuvenate your body, mind, and soul at Nature's Touch Therapy. For an appointment, please call or WhatsApp 1-868-398-8282. Or visit our Facebook page. Remember, your health is our responsibility at Nature's Touch.
There's only one way to start your week right, and that's with Dr. Livette. Join him right here on your radio every Thursday morning beginning October 7th at 9:10 a.m. for your dose of the health and wellness in a program that is sure to change your life. Popular for promoting Livette rather than diet, Dr. Livette has transformed a number of lives nationwide and is now live on the Street 919 FM every Thursday from 9:10 a.m. Tune in on Thursday, 7th October and also learn about the U-Juice to build your immunities and promote overall great health. Dr. Livette on the Street 919 FM this and every Thursday from 9:10 a.m. It's time that you live.
Trinidad and Tobago Mortgage Finance Company Limited wishes to advise customers making mortgage payments over the counter that the tellers at all our offices will be open daily from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. To make payments online, book appointments, request letters, statements, documents, and access other services, please visit our online customer service center at ttmf-mortgages.com. TTMF, from here to home.
Police, good day. Officer Best Price here. Johnny Q Auto Parts Division?
Yes, sir.
I'm here to investigate an assault on batteries.
Excuse me, sir?
Is it true? You have batteries selling for $488?
Yes. Power Master, Optima, Vata, and Megastar batteries.
So I can buy a battery for $488?
Yes, sir. For cars, trucks, and boats. Backed and distributed by Massey Automotive.
Which part?
Right here at Johnny Q Hardware and Auto Parts Division, 15 Arabita Avenue, Woodbrook. And our new Johnny Q Superstore, located at Lowlands Mall off Claude Highway in Tobago. You could call 60 Tools.
Alright, thanks boss. Nah man. Johnny, do you have $488 to lend me?
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's Radio.
The Church of the Firstborn Assembly of number 399 Eastern Main Road, Waiko Sangre Grande, is pleased to present Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson and guest. Sundays, Tuesdays, and Friday night, Sunday Ministry of Worship, Children Hour and the Word from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesdays, see Jesus in every book of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation from 9 p.m. and Friday night, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. all night prayer for our nation. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell everyone. For further information, visit with us at www.churchofthefirstbornassembly.org or on Facebook. Email us at church668hope@gmail.com or call us at 753-1113 or 236-7271. Your free gifts and offerings will be greatly appreciated at Church of the Firstborn Assembly, account number 795222 at the First Citizens Bank.
Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
The
The Street 91.9 FM brings you today's tips to improve your financial literacy. Improving your financial literacy is a never-ending endeavor that needs to be prioritized. As you work on improving your financial literacy, it's important to continue your momentum. Here are your tips. Pay attention to your fees. Understanding the fee structure and the amount you have been paying on a monthly or even annual basis in regards to fees associated with financial services is extremely important. Account service fees, annual financial planning service fees, investment account management fees, you name it. If you haven't reviewed and audited your fees yet, I recommend that you sit down and make this a priority. That was your financial tip brought to you by the Street 91.9 FM.
This is the Street 919 FM COVID-19 updates. In case you missed it, the latest COVID positive cases in TNT as of October 4th, 2021 stands at
New positive cases
144.
Total active cases
4,210.
Total recovered patients
45,669. Total positive cases for COVID-19 as of March 2020 to present 51,387. Follow the Ministry of Health COVID-19 protocols. Wear your mask, sanitize, social distance, and avoid gatherings. A message from the Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yo, this is your boy Ziggy Rankin, and right now you're listening to the Titans of Democracy. You don't know. Real talk.
Christmas morning, I hanging up your curtain while waiting on a bun to go hospital. 10 minutes later, the phone starts to ring. Tony calling to head apartment.
We didn't kill the queen.
We reach up like Cassie, we sing Mountain June and we tell me belly.
Wash off fish, that food is good.
So now it's time to go, but they asking for more. So we get up and play more para. Sing the para, para, para. We get up and play more para. Sing the para, para, para.
So welcome back on the inside. Just a bit of information for you. Value Optical wishes to advise the public that all 13 branches will now be open full time to provide expert eye care services to you. All of our regular services are now available. For your safety, we continue to practice the established health and safety protocols, and we recommend that you make an appointment for all testing services. Please call us at 225-4865 or toll-free 800-2020 for all inquiries on opening hours, eye testing availability, and how we can assist your eye care needs. Value Optical, caring for your eyes. For all your hardware building materials, auto parts, small tool rentals, pets and pet supplies, gravel and sand, don't forget PowerMaster Optima Vata and Megastar batteries starting from $488. And it's all at Johnny Q, number 15 Peter Avenue, Woodbrook, and our new Johnny Q Superstore in Lowlands Mall, Tobago off Claude Noel Highway. Just call 63 Tools. Yes, so we are back.
Was I in here, Bongo Square song for this season?
Cool it. It coming. Bongo. You see, men done waiting, you know. It coming. You know, let's get to hear it.
Right.
Yeah, and things.
You're not in this one. You're not in this one this year.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be. I had to organize myself. I know if I get a little time off from work weekend,
right?
Depending on what the client want to do. If the client say, well, nah, Bruce, not this weekend, next weekend, yeah, I in the session again.
Nice.
Oh gosh. Yes, so guys, the lines are open. 342-0081 466-5391. You can call us up and give your contributions. Remember to be mindful of others. Caller, good morning.
Yes, good morning again.
Yes, morning.
So I was saying about the GO train in Toronto. It's a train that runs Bruce and Dominic. I don't know if you all know about it. It doesn't stop until it reaches destination. It's like a hop on up, but it goes so slow that you can come on. Of course, you'll have your ticket, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, so that it's a non-stop train that you can hop on and hop off wherever you are going.
Okay.
So it doesn't stop. There's no traffic, no light or anything for it to stop at all.
Right.
But it's so that people can step on. I was surprised too when I see people hopping on a horse and I ask the question. So I think so. Something like that. If we can develop a railroad for that type of thing, from Grandy to Port of Spain, from San Fernando to Port of Spain, things like that. So because it goes from station to station, something like I can't remember now because it's a long time, right?
Okay.
And I'm saying you talk about tourism. You see that hill, Laventille Hill, or that view? So we can have tourism there. Tourism where they can see the view on Port of Spain, and they can also have this place where they develop the pan, that house or center. I've never been there, so I don't know what it looks like, where the pan was developed.
Mm-hmm.
They can have that as a tourist attraction. Of course, you have your transport to take them up there. You fix that well, so they have a beautiful view, and they also have the pan. Because I remember in Toronto, I'm using Toronto again, when I had gone to the batter factory, I think it was, I can't remember telling that, and everything was not looking new. They were all delivered as that. So, things that people will know of our country, right? And also to make money, So those are the two things. Maybe later on I'll come up with other things, right? So when we're thinking about income, we could look at those two things too. And because when you talk about going to work, production is very important, right? And time wasted, you'd never get it again. And people must be on the move to go to work. Okay, take care.
Thank you. Caller, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
I would like to say something, please. The gap between deficit and revenue is closing over the past 6 budgets that have been delivered. And that is a significant thing. Because when the last government was in power, the gap was very wide. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And we are coming down to bring it where we eventually have surplus. And that is a key thing. Also, when you put somebody as a tourist ambassador, they carry with it all things that an ambassador has with them. And that is a very nice thing. So they go over the world and they have official down. If you want to have tourism, sports tourism and things, you can't have planes landing in a little pub. You have to have a major airport. Right? And this is the way we are going to. We have to have banking airport so that the people will come here. Because if you want to have IPL cricket and all kind of things, you could even have a ground in Tobago where you could have IPL cricket and things, but you have to have planes that could land in your country. That's what you have to have. And people have to understand that they talk about all kind of things, right? But they must realize that they thought the sky was going to fall upon the head. And because the sky has not fallen on the head this Tuesday morning, they have nothing of substance to say. Thank you.
Hello? 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 Oh, I wasn't hearing you at all.
Sorry about
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Okay then. Bruce and Dominic, Sharon, everyone else, good morning. Now, they're talking about the airport and in Tobago here shouldn't be, in my understanding, like they feel nothing should be done. But I want to tell people, when the Prime Minister Chambers came here to turn the sod to build this present airport, I was at the function. And another time, I was traveling to Trinidad before that. And my family dropped me at the airport. I think, I'm not sure if it's $36 or whatever it is. It was a small plane. And I was taking out a picture of my niece and nephews. And the whole shed came out. I have the picture here. I will try to get a picture out to you all somehow or the other. Because to see the stage of that airport to this one, and now they want to improve it to a better one, they are criticizing. Okay? So I want them to know we aren't going back to the shed that we had before. So Bruce and Dominic?
Yes, madam.
Yes, we need improvement.
Yes.
And this is what this government is doing for us. We didn't say it all the time. It was improved. Okay, take care. Bye.
Caller, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Bruce Wade.
Morning, darling. Why are you sounding so low?
I don't know what's going on with this old phone I have here. 1 minute it's going hard, 1 minute it's going low. You hear, darling? So on the budget, was very, very good. You hear?
Yeah.
So who want to criticize, they better take a walk and go somewhere. You hear? Because it's just right. You couldn't do nothing better than that. You understand, Dominic?
Yeah.
And Bruce Wayne? All right. Sharon, morning. Mommy Shaw, morning. Maro, morning. Morning to the Titan. Okay?
Yes,
everybody
darling.
have a blessed day.
You too, darling. Take care.
Right? Okay,
You know-
bye-bye.
Bruce, one of the highlights that I think that was overlooked in the budget was the mention by the minister that so far the government has gotten over $1 billion from the tax amnesty, right? And this is in the space of 3 months. So, and it's extended until the 15th of October. And I was listening to the head of the San Fernando Chamber of Commerce last night, and he was saying, maybe the government should extend the amnesty for a further 2 months. Because if they get $1 million in 3 months, $1 billion in 3 months, they could be able to get another $1 billion. So that tells me that he's aware, probably, that there are plenty of people out there who are behind on their taxes and have not paid it. And I don't, for whatever reason, they probably open some money come show whatever it is by the 15th. But if it is they miss this amnesty, there's a lot of outstanding tax dollars there to be had still. Hence the reason he's calling for a further 2 months. Well, I hope that the minister listens. Extend it by another month now. And we might get a 500 million extra. So, that's what I should have in the mix. $1 billion in 3 months.
Caller, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, I don't know what happened. Don't know what's going on there. Caller, good morning.
Good morning to you, Bruce, and good morning to you, Dominic.
Hey, Kingsley, morning.
Yes, man. And I want to thank Dominic first. Well, because I was saying that they in what about sugar, what about flour, what about milk? Because the UNC saying they was looking for goodies, but they get cricks and such is. So I want to thank Dominic for saying that the list is coming out. When? What did he say? The full list?
First of is November, Dominic. The 1st of November, the full list coming out?
Yes.
Yeah, the 1st of November.
Right. Because they go on with that already, you know. They go on with that. You know what I mean? They start to babble the mouth about the sin. What about sugar? What about flour? What about milk? And I wonder if they call these three things what they would have said next. They might have looked for fish and cheese. Because as Dominic rightly said, let us wait. Let us wait and see what's taking place. I couldn't believe that yesterday, Dominic, my leader, come with a speech done right already. Like she told the debate was taking place yesterday and that Friday. Coming here, I'm concerned about my leader. She stopped taking my call, she stopped taking my text. I am very concerned about my leader. If I could only whisper in her ears, I would ask her, who advising you? Who advising you? How could you come with a reaching speech to debate the budget and it's right Friday coming here? I'm concerned. I'm very concerned to see today that certain individual surround my leader, my political leader, Kamala Prasad Bisasa, and I'm concerned about that. And I also want to thank I think he is the junior minister in the Minister of Finance, Mr. Manning. Oh, he answered all these questions nice on CNC3 last night with Kamajos. He defended the PNM flag, you know what I mean? He answered the question, he rebut to the former Minister of Energy, Kevin, and he deal with the matter very professional. I never know he was a very very professional last night. And I said, well done to you, Mr. Manning from San Fernando, represent your party good. But as I leave, I want to leave PNM people with this. I do not know if only know September the 3rd was the anniversary of the political leader of the party in the PNM. September the 30th was Dr. Rowdy Cheers for his leadership of political leader, not the Prime Minister, but political leader of the party. It is Cheers now. I do not know what next, but I look forward to hear what is the next step, because he said that he wasn't going back up, but I know that Cheers come for his political leader of the political party. I look forward to see what is going to say in the next few days, what the party is going to announce in the next few days about the internal election, if it's going to take place or not, or if it's going to continue until the 5 years and then the next leader. So I wait to see. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Caller, good morning.
Hey, Big Bruce, morning, brother.
Hey, morning.
Morning, Dominic, boy, Romain. Kingsley, the man say he ain't going nowhere again, boy.
Hey.
Dr. Rowdy say he ain't going nowhere again. So, you remember it's a pandemic. The man ain't got a 4 or 5 years to govern with natural, on a natural playing field. So, the man say he ain't going nowhere again, Kingsley. So, that leadership not up for grabs again. So, all was licking the lips of Bruce and Dominic, licking the chops and feel well, it's rather than be easy, put them there and then work. But fellas, let me tell you something. The budget, Bruce, you're going on. I was in town yesterday. I went in the famous grocery on Charlotte Street, the Chinese grocery. And the coffee that I was buying the next grocery and some of the major groceries, and the grocery on Charlotte Street, it was the identical coffee brand, it was $4 less than in the other supermarkets who we talk about. So you know the grocery I'm talking about on Charlotte Street, everybody just go. But they sell the fish. Right? So what we're saying is people are shop around. Right? I save $4. And if you save $4 off every item, to put towards another item, then you come out good. So we have to look around, we have to be money smart. As I said, Mr. Embassy will extend the VAT net, what is zero rated, because sausages and them tin foods, them water, tuna and thing, why like all them things went through the roof. So removing VAT off those things, you could buy all them sausages for children. Well, take off VAT off a ham. So all these things will benefit in a little way if 12.5% is removed moved off every dollar of those items. So, and it's happening next month. So let me see how it goes. All is finding the critics and the property tax. Right? The game is with the property tax. What is going on now is a survey to get 50% of the society. Right? You need to get that data house to house survey. Or unless they get that, no property tax could be picked up. And I think they reach a threshold of 50% of the valuations of people's property. So all that hysteria and bacchanal they're causing, all this is just to continue. I hear the opposition leaders that she couldn't take the bill to court and whatever. This game is to push and to kick the can down the road, close the elections, to come to raise that game, to come to raise property tax for the next election, local and general. So as long as they could continue delaying and time meeting in the court, backing up the court with the bacchanal, they will always find a way now to come to the public to create fear with property tax. But as I say, I was expecting anything much because I know what the revenue is. But those basic food items, and he's saying he's going to add to the list of food items. Everybody that buys those basic food items, and when it expands, we're going to benefit from it, even in a little way. So, Brother Bruce and Dominic, boy, enjoy the morning, boy. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Caller, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
To everybody. Good morning, Mr. Porter Spain and everybody. I just want to say something, sir. Mr. Kingsley, you are a member of the UNC, and I applaud you. But you are not a member of the PNM. What goes on in the PNM is our business. When we have in our election internally is nothing of you. You're fast and out of place to find out about the PNM. Keep yourself in the UNC, you understand? Because your political leader come with a written speech that was written before the budget was delivered. You understand? Keep yourself out of PNM business. Because if you don't do that, Mr. Porter Spain and I will come on the radio and deal with you. Right? And I want you to know, because me afraid to call my name, you know. I am Mr. PNM. Right? So don't come with your damn nonsense here.
Caller, good morning.
Dominic and Bruce, good morning.
Morning.
Morning. Dominic, Dr. Rowley, must I want to go nowhere again? It's because he's shame. And I hope PNM people get rid of him in the internal election. Get rid of him. I will leave it there.
Oh, Lord, Father.
So, by his analogy, Kamala shame too?
Is what?
Kamala shame too? By his analogy.
Bruce, I am not aware that Dr. Ali said he's going anywhere. The man said he's going to be around for a little while longer, right? Which is 4 years.
I try to
understand. He contemplated not contesting the 2020 general election, but he realized that there were certain people that he, younger ones that he would have encouraged to come into the political system, and he needed to nurture them for a little bit, and then he would move on to greener pastures. Dr. Ali, unlike other political leaders, is not inclined to leave office in a coffin. The man has a very nice farm in Tobago that I'm sure he would like to tend to, and I am certain that Mrs. Rowley would like to retire and enjoy her retirement years, rather than having to put up with people cussing out her husband and saying all the kind of worst things about him and the nastiest things about him. I'm sure she and the rest of the family could do without that for a few years, right? Dr. Ali is not a young guy. He'll be 75, I think, when the next general election comes around. Yeah, I don't think he wants to die in office. All right, so we'll see what will happen. Yeah? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay? Right.
Yeah. Caller, good morning.
Morning, Bruce.
Morning.
Morning, Dominic. And the entire PNM family. When Mr. Leave it there, you better leave it right here with you. Don't take it any way further. Because the duck is here to stay, and he have a right to make his own decision. You leave it right there. Do move a muscle. Leave it right there.
Oh gosh, Father. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bruce.
Hey, brother, morning.
Mr. Dominic, good morning. And good morning to all your listeners and callers. I listen, Bruce, I am over 75, and I listened to a kind of stupid voice a couple minutes ago, talking about Dr. a year ago. These are fellas who go up in poverty, and then decide to come out of it, Yeah, these are fellas who really have no common sense, and it's hard for them to waste the money and call on a telephone to talk such stupidness for sensible people to be hearing them. You understand? And it's sad to see that the kind of he have the correct leader, The correct leader doesn't know what to answer. She doesn't know maths. She doesn't know English. She doesn't know how to explain herself unless somebody has decided to tell her, give her the answer to say something. Did you hear how she replied to the budget yesterday in 2 minutes? A whole sheet of paper she reading and just condemning and saying everything is good. That is the kind of leadership them fellas want. And if you give them a chance, they mash up Trinidad and Tobago and they sit down in the bed and they laugh because they have nowhere else to go. Fellas only have a nice morning, man.
Yeah, man.
Nice day.
Take care, man.
Yeah, brother.
Caller, good morning.
Dominic, from 2010, when I was defending the PNM and the ground report, where were all of them running them out now? Where were all of them, Dominic? They want to come and run them out now? They're shame.
Were you entitled to something and didn't receive it? Or did you receive something and you didn't appreciate it? Or was your common fowl stolen from you?
Bruce, I think that's the $1 million question. I think everybody would love to know what happened that caused Mr. Leavitt there to develop such a dislike. I won't say a hatred. I don't think it's hatred. I think it's such an intense dislike for Dr. Rao. I would really love to know. I mean, I would be more than happy to give him a 10 minutes to explain himself. I know some people say they want to hear him, but I am curious. And I would love to know what happened, as you said, what did he not get, or what was the disappointment to motivate this level of discontent and dislike? Maybe one of these days he'll tell us.
I just ask because you see, you hear a lot of people. There are a lot of people that talk with so much passion. Dr. Rowley this, the PNM that, and then they come and when people reply to them, you hear them say things like what he just said. When I was defending, well, it was it. So why would you stop defend? What caused you to stop defend? That's what I would want. I want to know, but don't call back and tell me. I want to know on the air. Call me on my private phone and tell me. Yeah, don't call back now to tell me. You understand? Because, and you know, some of them, I don't know much about him, but for some of them, when you hear what they vex about, that and nothing is the same thing, you know. Plenty of them, you all would have done certain things, all right, fine, but you see, you're not genuine. You was doing something, looking for something in return. So it's better you come forward and state your case one time. Here we're going on now. I can get this phone, you know. They got to get my TV. Don't hand me the phone and expect me to just watch you and hand you a TV. Tell me, Bruce, here we're going on. I give you this phone, but I will need that TV. So you ain't going to be cussing me down the road when you ain't get the TV now, boy, and pour me, you know, what the hell going on there. The man give me a phone, you know, Dominic. Me know why the man give me a phone and then vex with me. I don't understand what's going on there.
Yes. I know somebody who was a strong fan of Dr. Rowley and now hates, they don't like the best bone in his body because they went somewhere to some event where Dr. Rowley was and they didn't like the way that he shook their hand.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they felt that because of the friendship that they have, that it should have been, he should have been more welcoming and more, you know. So, but they felt, all that.
My brother, what are you doing?
Yeah. So he was too brief in his greeting to them, and since then they want nothing to do it.
But the fact that he had other people to greet coming along the way was no never mind to you. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That and nothing is.
You see, for some people it's about status. So if I go, I want everybody to know me and the PM good. But he greeted me on that day the same way that he greeted everybody else. And I think I'm special. And I should have gotten a more lengthy greeting. And therefore, because of that, I felt slighted and I vexed with it. Okay.
You wanted the big man to pull the beaker. You don't understand that. Shut up on the side of here now. They'll grow up now, eh?
Yes.
Damn foolishness. Caller, good morning.
Bruce.
Oi.
Mr. Leave it right there and I totally messed. He talking about school. He himself knows St. Anthony's colleges. What he dotish. But Mr. Leave it right there. You remember time the other day I tell every time you talk to my he wouldn't latrine outside. I think he must study, think about what I tell you about. Bruce, every time this man always on Dr. Rowley back. He always on Dr. Rowley back. Mr. Leave it right there. Hear what I'm telling you about. You remind me of the long time latrine outside. Bruce and Dominic have a good one. I gone.
Chakaramba. Caller, good morning.
Hey, Bruce and Dominic. Bruce, Dominic, you see what you say there? Listen. It's not for nothing. People tell me, right? Mr. Leavidia said that he don't like what Dr. Rowley said. And some people are the hang-ups like former minister when the government collapsed in 2010. And if they want to hold on to that, it's them, brother. You understand? I didn't put Dr. Rowley, I never meet the man. I don't want to meet the man. I put the man to do a job, and the man is doing his job. Right? And you have to understand when people didn't get what they want, and it was never genuine from the start. And I'm going to tell everybody, PNM is a voluntary organization. And in a voluntary organization, that people that you wouldn't get along with, people wouldn't like you might feel slighted at times, you might whatever. It's your choice to walk away or not. It's not I to question that. But to constantly going on a hate through, that tell me it wasn't genuine from the start. Right? And I keep petting our pilot that hate Dr. Rowley Bruce. Right? A senior pilot is retired now because of an incident with the bossman and he going to Tobago. The normal attitude and snub. Right? So you see me, I'm against personalities. Personalities don't run the country. Right? And Dr. Rowley has his style. He has his friends. I don't want to be his friend. I don't want to meet him. I want him to do his job, which he's doing. And Dominic, I think he said it on, but I didn't hear it, but I'll put it on the interview with the morning with Botawari. When Botawari asked him if you're stepping down again this year, and I think he said no. You know, he afraid to disappoint people. He would like to disappoint people, but he's not going anywhere again. I think he said it on morning with Bo. So, Bruce, brother, you see me, all who feel that they want to leave the PNM, that is your right and that is your choice, and don't support and not to support. But you see my ears with negativity constantly, I try to avoid people like that. Because that people tell me, Bruce, people who I thought had some kind of sense that Dr. Rowley will never be Prime Minister, and today they had to pass me straight and put their head on the ground because they do not understand. At the end of the day, they do not understand the culture of Tobago. They feel because there's academics that they know it all and there's experts on everything. Dr. Rowley has stymied corruption, and that is what I voted for. Right? My list, and it creates the opportunities that there's there for everyone. So people who want to go, good, go. That is their right. Thank you for it.
Yeah, man. Oh, boy. Dominic, I tell you, the people why it fall alone, you know. Lead the people why it fall alone. You just like, come on, fall leg, you go ahead.
No, I heard the interview that the caller mentioned. That's what I'm saying. The question was put to Dr. with respect to his announcement that he intended to limit up what he said is that he's around. He's sorry to disappoint people, but that he's going to be around for some time, right? No, and my interpretation of that is that he's going to be around as prime. He said he's going to be around as prime minister for the next, right? So it's 4 years.
Yeah,
and even if he runs for another term, it means that he would be demitted office at age 88, right?
Yeah.
And the man has already indicated that he contemplated not contesting the last election.
Yeah.
But it was only because of the fact that he brought certain people, new people into the politics, and he felt that he owed them at least that to nurture them a little bit so that they could get their feet wet and understand what the politics is. And then, essentially, but as he has made the point before, and Dr. Rowley keeps repeating this, he's not in love with office. He is not in love with office, right? And then obviously Mrs. Rowley isn't I don't think she plans to be an attorney for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
And she too would want to retire, and I mean, I think they have another grandchild. So obviously they want to spend time with their grandchildren and so on. As I said, Dr. Rowley is now spring chicken, and there's only so much of what it is that he has had to put up with that he would tolerate, and that response that he gave to Insha and Ishmael, to my mind, is indicative of that. That every day, and I'm sure Dr. Rowley, people, even if he doesn't go on Facebook directly to see these things, I am certain people send it to him. So he sees these lives where people doing lives and cussing him out and have the worst things to say about him when they do all of these different memes, as I said before, with human feces, and they put his face on it. The little child who went to the petting zoo, and the parent asking, who is that, and the child saying Rowley, and these things. And when it is if the Prime Minister knows, okay, I am doing the best that I can, right, with what I have to work with. Yeah. Some people may disagree and feel that better could be done, different could be done, but based on what I have to work with, the team that I'm working with, I am doing my best. But his best will never be good enough for some people.
That's right.
And therefore, you will always have people who will always cuss out the Prime Minister. Bruce, I am sure if Dr. Rowley if yesterday Mr. Iwer had announced every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago would receive $1 million cash, you would have tons of people who would have an issue with that. They would take the money and then say, oh, they're only doing that to buy votes. They feel they're smart, but they will take the money, There is nothing. There are some people in this country, no matter what the Prime Minister do, right? That the only thing that he may do that they might be happy with is if it is that he decides, well, okay, I'm stepping down as Prime Minister, or I'm leaving politics now, rather than 2020. And there are some of them who would probably have an issue with that too, because if he does that, that means 4 years that they will not have to cuss him out and say the nastiest things about him. Yep. So he deprived them of 4 years, because for some people, that's the only thing that makes them feel good. But the Prime Minister does what he has to do. I have met the man, Bruce, and I could tell you, and the reason why I could speak that way is because I know that issue with the Red House, when people were vilifying, especially Philip Alexander, when I met with the Prime Minister, and a group of us, and he was talking about, and you could tell the passion, and the Prime Minister, how deeply hurt he was, because he's the misrepresentation that was out there with respect to the renovation of the Red House, right? And all the false information, and how people were gravitating towards that. And you could tell based on the way the man was talking, when he spoke about, in that same meeting, he talked about the ferries and the things that they were saying about that and all of that. And he expressed that he is doing his best, and people just continue to attack him and all everything. And when his wife, Sharon Rowley, did the interview a few months ago with Natalie Lego, and she was saying, when the Prime Minister comes home, and how she knows, and he knows that he's doing his best, but there are people who constantly attack him. And it was based on that interview, you could tell that she's tired of it. But because she's her husband's support, he's the Prime Minister now, and she's supporting him. But I am sure she yearns for the day when all of that would be a thing of the past, and they know how to deal with that. And they don't spare a thought. All these people who do these nasty things don't spare a thought for the Prime Minister's family. That his daughters, when they're on social media and seeing people saying these things and calling their father Cornholio and Lalpagar and fool and donkey and all these kind of things, how do you think that makes them feel? Right? When his son's seeing that, his wife's seeing that constantly, daily, over and over. But they don't care about that, Yeah, the bobby head and this and that and the other and the next. But as I said before, in the years to come, in the same way they had cussed out A&R Robinson when he introduced VAT and the things that he did in that period of time to stabilize the economy, and years later, that was making sense, and all of a sudden Robinson good, but he wasn't good then. Time will tell. They will look back and see, that what Rowley and them did, that really made sense. But as I say, hindsight is 20/20 vision. They got to be.
Says Sadius. Oh boy. Caller, good morning.
Blessed you, but
morning.
This Felix, loyal listeners and callers, all on live. Well, people, the opposition will never find nothing good about any budget. But what will be happening on Fridays is a regurgitation of the opposition. You know, because you come to have a press conference concerning the budget, but you have a list of papers. I wonder if it's the budget she had, because I want to know if she's the only one get the package before yesterday, if you was watching you. But my concern in the budget is this: 600 and some, let me say 700 million in housing, Mr. Minister, and 3-point-something billion in works for roads. Let me get our priorities right, Mr. Minister. Roads are useless. Roads are something used now and then. A house is for 24 hours. A road is not forever. And check it out. Right now, we're in a pandemic, and between 10 and 5, nobody on the roads. If you of us are showing, but between 10 and 5, somebody in a house. So let me get your priorities right. A little more money in housing, please, Mr. Minister. You hear what I'm talking about it? I'm glad for the nurses, because Mr. Edie Stewart have been crying out for these nurses for a very long time. Not only yesterday, if you of us are showing you. And I'm glad that he's given permission for the CPO to meet with the unions. I want the unions to come with their ridiculous offers to the government for them to say, you see, the government is what they give you nothing. Thank you very much.
There are people that would disagree with you where the roads is concerned. A lot of people would disagree with you with that. Especially people that use the roads every day for taxis and stuff like that. Taxis, maxis, the regular person. I hear a lot of people talk about bad roads and the shocks for their vehicles and having to change the shocks so often. And there's a little bit of everything goes everywhere. And I think generally, my personal opinion, Dominic, this budget was a very good budget. And I got a summary of the different things, and I was reading through it last night and I was saying, budget is something in the past years I never pay attention to. And having done so for the past couple of years, this budget good to go.
Yeah.
This budget is good to go in every single aspect. It is good to go. And a lot of people would have said that, I even hear somebody talking about, they're going to remove the subsidy on gas. And I like, what about you? You have an inside tip or something? Where you get that from? This, and again, let me get Jackie Jacket now. This, considering where the world is today, this is a great budget, people. Right? This ain't no always PNM and we back in. This is a great budget. Well, they can say what they want, and I'm waiting for some of my partners and them online later, because I know they're listening to me this morning now, and they comment later to make a bacchanal. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
Morning, Zina.
Dominic, good morning. Morning to all those locked-on listeners and callers. Mano, I know if I sleeping by these days, like you're calling out my spirit, Is that? Morning. Listen, here what? Bruce, I agree with you 100% what you just said. And let me tell you, see, the haters, many of them, when you see they're going on with it, what they're going on with, they're being paid. So they have to go on with it. And let me tell you, half of them, they time the brain sharing with Dr. Rowley. And when I say brain sharing, I don't know if you understand what I mean. They're sleeping, the eating, the waking is Dr. Rowley. You understand? So they can't help it. That is what you call brain sharing. Dr. Rowley, like they let him possess them. So all they could do is to come and put something else to hate Dr. Rowley. Right? Because in their mind, day and night. People like them, they need to go and get a life. You understand? Get a life and do something constructive. That is what I want to see this morning. And as I say, I agree for this time, this kind of economic time, and this kind of pandemic that we're in, I find the budget is a good one.
Yes.
You understand? Thank you.
Thank you, Zeno. So, guys, we're almost out of time for today, so I'll give you the daily word now. The daily word for today is healing. I claim health and wholeness for myself. With loving attention, I do as much as I can to preserve and promote my health. Life becomes easier, fuller, and more enjoyable when I respond to my body's needs with proper rest, exercise, and nutrition. I care for my emotional life by spending time in prayer and meditation and seeking out like-minded people who uplift and support me. Through awareness of God, I have the power to identify and break old habits that do not benefit my health. I have the strength to persevere in faith through any challenge and claim wholeness. I have the divine judgment to make choices that are good for my mind and body, and the divine strength to stay the course and maintain my willpower. I am going to bring it recovery and healing. I will heal them and reveal to them abundance of prosperity and security. Jeremiah 33:6. So guys, basically that's all the time we have for today. It was a pleasure being in a company. It was a pleasure having you in ours. I'll be back tomorrow, please God, with the lovely Miss Sharon Felix, and then return again on Thursday with Dominic. And by the time Thursday reaches, Dominic and I will be able to tell you what the opposition would debate on Friday. I am sure we will be hitting everything on the head. So Dominic, as we say, my brother, ciao. Talk to you guys later.
Ranking, and right now you're listening to the Titans of Democracy. You don't know. Real talk.
Street 919 FM has been asked to announce the passing of Joseph Karambokas, who departed this life on Thursday, the 30th of September 2021, at the age of 70. He was the son of the late Violet and Rennie Karambokas, husband of Esme Karambokas, father of Joel and Mark, brother of Mervyn, John, Simon, Glenda, and Zena Karambokas, Idris, Sween, and Veronica Lawrence, uncle of Leonard, Shem, Heather, Jasmine, Cheryl, Michelle, and Adriana, grandfather of Nyron and Sherwin, son-in-law of Rosa Mark, brother-in-law of Anthony Mark, Gillian Payne and Nicole Payne, father-in-law of Linda Cyrus. The funeral service for the late Joseph Karambokas takes place at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, the 6th of October, 2021 at the parish of the Holy Cross Roman Catholic Church, Cantaro Village, Upper Santa Cruz, thence for burial at the Churchyard Cemetery next to the fire station. For more information, you can contact Simpsons Memorial Limited at 623-8688.
And right now you're listening to the Titans of Democracy. You don't know. Real talk.
Call out to your neighbor.
Call out to your friends.
Come, let's spend Christmas together.
Christmas time is here. Can you feel it? It's in the air.
I call to one and all. Start up the music. Let's have a ball. Quattro play the song
while we sing along.
Sorrel in my hand
while we sing Paran.
Children laugh and sing
to the joy it brings.
Eats and drinks for so
you tight here, you know.
To have a Merry Christmas, a Merry Christmas is all we aim for. So call out to your neighbor,
call out to your friends.
Come, let's spend Christmas together. Wake up this morning, you know where we going. Victoria Village, we barangin'.
Auntie in St. Joseph, don't leave home, we coming with.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Christmas morning when I wake, I hit the kitchen, start to bake. I see a surprise in my husband. I given him my roast ham, turkey and bread. But when it comes to chicken, I roasted that instead. I given him my roast ball. I given him my roast ball. Let's stick it with a fork. I don't want no wool talk. We see the fed up at the baking on Christmas morning. If you don't want barbecue, well, I don't know what you will. I given him my roast ball. A juicy roast ball with some pepper and chow chow. He don't want to eat it now.